edition of Taking Over. I am, of course, Ol'Ed as Fries, joined as always by the natural Astrid Pizarro. Astrid, NXT Homecoming just ended. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about how great was it to hear that opening theme one more time.
I was stomping my feet at home. Why? They did this to me tonight. I almost cried.
NXT Homecoming was indeed a show. But that's not the show we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Action Wrestling, which you can catch at action-wrestling.square.site. Or, more importantly, if you want to watch all their shows, or at least most of them, go to independentwrestling.tv. Go ahead and sign up for $11 a month, $10.99, I think it is, something like that. It's a fantastic service. You get hundreds of different professional wrestling companies with a multitude, or dare I say, a plethora of shows to be able to watch from each of those different organizations.
I knew it was coming.
But we are here to talk about it. We've got some friends in the chat. We've got Zach Minger in here saying Happy National Banana Bread Day. We've got our local establishment that must be Bobby saying Bomaye. Bobby also says, oh no, he did it. He did, because it was there. We have our friend Joe Hulk in the chat. Hello, Joe. Thank you for joining us for another live one. Hopefully you're here and not working, but if you're working, I appreciate you stopping by. We always appreciate our friends. Brett Martinez, a friend of Ring Respect Radio, jumping in, talk all about Action Wrestling. Bobby Munson also says, hello, friends. How are you doing? We're good. We're good. We had a great NXT to watch to, get psyched for this. I had a very fun and interesting meeting before NXT where I got some toys, so I'm very excited for that.
Some toys.
I'm officially now bound for glory.
Yes. We love to see it.
It was a dicey road to be bound for glory, but I am indeed currently now bound for glory.
Hey, we found a way. That's all that matters.
We did. Speaking of ways, we got our friend Millie in the chat, who I had to talk to about today's show because I had to get some perspective. We'll talk about that in a minute. We got Lewis in the chat. Hello, Lewis. Sorry to occupy your Tuesday night still, but, you'll get the weekend. And, of course, Joe's like, oh, I'm here tonight. I'm off. Well, we appreciate you stopping by and talking with us. Action Pro Wrestling started in 2018. They run mostly down in the South, mostly in Georgia. This show happens to come from Tyrone, Georgia. I don't know where that is. I'm going to assume it's close to where Cody Rhodes lives, close to where AJ Styles lives, because it's Georgia. And those are the only things I know about Georgia. So we're going to assume it's close to Atlanta. We don't know. Hide their hair, we don't know of where it is. However, we do have a fun card here. But as always, I want Astrid's first opinions on this promotion. Every time we go to a new promotion, I want to get your thoughts. First, I want to get the positives. What are the things you liked about Action Wrestling? Because we have to be fair and critical. There were some things that both of us didn't love. There was a lot to love about Action Pro Wrestling. Tell me, what are some of the things you loved?
I felt like I really enjoyed the fact that every match is a little bit different, and I think everything was enjoyable for different reasons too. I didn't have a match that I could tell you that I was bored or anything with, like I was just interested in. I enjoyed every one of them so far. And it made me want to introduce me to some new people, some of them were familiar faces, some of them were new people as well. So that was also a good one to see. My only downfall, I think, was, I have two, I think. One of them was definitely commentary with a certain line that I didn't enjoy. And when they were basically screaming very often while I was watching it. So that really, I didn't want to hear the commentary when that was happening, unfortunately. The other part would be with the camera movement kind of changing very often. But again, it's it's an indie company. I don't want to complain, let's say, too much, because I know it's a smaller company. Hopefully things I can improve in the future, but overall I had a good experience with it.
I loved Action. The action in Action is fantastic. I thought they did a really good job with their matches. Like Astrid said, there was a bit of everything in this. We had a women's match. We had a tag team match. High flying. We had some more down-to-earth technical wrestling. We had a variety of different types of athletes and types of presentations on the show. We had some big names. We had some names that I got introduced to. Right at the top, Joe Black, new favorite, one of my new favorites. Love me some Joe Black. Joe Black is great. We'll talk more about him in a little bit. But, I mean, there are obviously some familiar faces. We've talked about TJ Crawford. I mean, Astrid, you weren't here for this, but we talked about TJ Crawford. Last week when we talked about Beyond when he was in that match. We talked about Krule last week in the Beyond Wrestling show, which, by the way, thank you to everybody who's watched it. It is now the most viewed taking over ever. So we want to thank you for that because that's something to look forward to. We greatly appreciate that. We also talked about Channing Thomas before. You and I both adore Channing Thomas. I loved a lot of that. I will agree with Astrid. I thought commentary, while good for the majority of the night, their lead commentator is really good. He gets very excited and he's very loud, but he's really good. I liked the way he called the action. I liked the way that he worked with everybody around them. Okay, it is part of the Atlanta metro area. Woohoo! Good for guessing.
Close enough.
I will also second Astrid's discussion about the camera work. I got a little dizzy with some of it. And again, it's hard to do a ringside camera and a hard cam. It's very hard to do both and do it well, especially when you're doing it live and it's being broadcast live. If it's not just going up after the fact, it's an editing. That being said, I want to say that the camera work done by the ringside attendant was really good. Mm-hmm. They just needed better direction in the booth to make sure that when he started moving to a new area, that we didn't follow the shot. So he's like holding the camera and moving towards the floor as he's moving shots. Those were the only real bad ones. Other than that, it was really good. Mm-hmm. And again, yes, Bobby says, I've been doing it shitty for 8 years now. Look, it's hard. I'm not sitting here saying I can do it better. I'm just saying we've been privileged to watch some of the best independent wrestling. And action is right up there with them. Let's not kid it. Some of these shows we're going to invest into some of these companies that we're going to go, oh my God, what did we get into? Because what we should be doing is vetting these shows before we say what we're going to watch. What we really do is we go, hey, this show looks like fun. Let's watch this week. So I'm very excited for it. Let's get started with the promotion, though. We start with somebody we know, TJ Crawford, the Silver Sniper himself. A new nickname for him that I've not heard before. The most trustworthy man in sports entertainment. When you're told you can trust somebody in the professional wrestling landscape, that's not somebody to trust. And then, of course, we have a newcomer to my eyes, 24-year veteran Slim J. Now, Slim J made me very worried when he came out. Because I looked at him and I saw, oh my God, this is a wrestling M&M. Oh no, what are we in for?
I'm glad I'm not the only one because I'm familiar with Slim J because of, I think it was more like Ring of Honor. Because if I remember correctly, I had to look it up a little bit later. But when I went to the Ring of Honor taping in Orlando, like the first one under TK that we had, Slim J was one of the people there. And I didn't even know who Slim J was. And I remember seeing this, like, who the heck is this person? I have no introduction to them. And they look like that. They look like a baby Eminem because they don't even look like an adult sometimes either, which is the irony of it too. But I was a little bit familiar with Slim J before.
I was not. However, I was pleasantly surprised because I really liked this match. I thought it was really fun. I'm biased. I'm a big TJ Crawford fan. I think TJ Crawford is fantastic. I don't think he gets nearly enough credit. And I think he's taken a bit for granted when he's in some of these matches because of the fact that he travels. But I get to see him more often than I see many professional wrestlers with Beyond Wrestling, where he's part of Wrestling Open all the time, where I get to see him more often than not at a Chaotic show when I go to the Chaotic shows. So I have a high opinion of him because of the fact that I see him on a fairly regular basis. I thought him and Slim J had some really good chemistry in this match. Slim J standing up to TJ Crawford, a bit smaller, a bit. Well, they had that really good striking back and forth. I thought went really well until TJ cheated and started kicking him. I thought that was really fun and interesting. At the end of the day, TJ gets the win with a really interesting win. Like I've never seen this. He rolled. This is the next match. I apologize. One of the other matches. I was like, I've never seen this. He rolled through the dive, held the tights, got the win. Your bad guys got to win sometimes. TJ Crawford feels like the bad guy here, but it's again, you can't understate how good TJ Crawford is, and I'm excited to see more of him as we continue on.
Yeah, I feel like he definitely caught more of my attention in this match because I did like the head scissors that Slim did towards the beginning of the match, like the angle they did for the camera work here was really well done. But once TJ went to pick up speed, I feel like there was no going, there was no way for Slim J here whatsoever. And I love like once TJ got rolling that he kept going and going, and there was at one point that he kicked him a couple of times. That was really well done. The crossbody roll through they did was really well too. And then once he used the trunks, I went, yep, I knew it was gonna happen. I just didn't expect it to happen the way it did, but I knew TJ was gonna win somehow because he just kept going. And once he built up momentum, there was no stopping him. So I already had in my mind TJ winning, just not how it went about it.
Yeah, and then we move on to our women's match of the night. Kelsey Raegan versus Little Mean Kathleen. And Astrid, I'm going to give you the floor because I know exactly where you want to start with this one.
Let me double check here. There we go. This is the part that I was very disappointed with commentary because I understand, as I like to say, Elmo K or Kathleen, as I like to go by. I know Kathleen's character, but I feel like at the same time you need to know how to like discuss what her character is without really going a little bit too much and going like, ugh, that's not something I wanted to hear. And at one point, one of the guys from commentary, don't know which one it was, says that she is mentally ill. And I went, why are we saying this? I'm like, just let her portray that with her character, if that's what her character is, for example. But you don't have to literally say it like that. And I went, ugh. I feel like I was the emoji with the smiley yikes, when I heard this, and I was not happy about it. But at the same time, I ignored it so I could keep watching the girls match because the only girls match on the card. Hoping that as we pick up and we keep watching action, I do have a little bit more women's matches. It's the only one that we had on the card and the only women's presence whatsoever on the whole show. So that's something I am curious more about. So I definitely want to check with Bryn about that part of it because I definitely want to see more women's actions here. But this one was one that I liked their chemistry. I just didn't particularly like the ending per se. I was hoping for a clean finish, and I feel like they were doing really well, picking up momentum with each other, a great back and forth, and then they had the angle with Kathleen's knee, and that's what they used. I thought at the end that maybe she was gonna use the knee to um, play possum in a way with Kelsey, but at the same time, Kelsey's it's mostly a heel. So I thought that really wouldn't work out if it was the other way around. It would have made sense. So that was something that I wasn't expecting the way it ended with Kelsey. And they said by submission, but even though she really just, I would say not a draw, but say that the referee called it out or something like that. I don't know if it felt weird saying that it was by submission when she didn't tap out per se. I don't know.
I went back and watched it again. She does. So I agree with everything you said. I thought it was a bit questionable for the talent-based commentator. So they had a rotating cast of characters come in and do commentary. At this point, it was one of the heels. I believe they're a manager of some ilk. Come in and do some commentary. He says the mentally ill line, which I didn't love. I understand where he's going with it because, like you, I understand LMK's character, and it's a fair representation of the character she portrays. She's a little wild, she's a little wacky, she's a little nuts. But there are other words we can use other than mentally ill. I thought there was a lot of really good stuff in here. I was very, very pleasantly surprised with Kelsey Raegan. This is my first opportunity to get a look at her, and wow, she's something. Like, yes, more Kelsey Raegan in all the independent promotions. I'm not going to be disappointed to see more of her.
She's a great heel, though. I would say that, like, based on her work here, definitely keep her as a heel.
Oh, no, I agree. I'm not saying turn her babyface. I'm just saying I need to see more of her everywhere.
No, I'm just complimenting her heel work, like, as a whole here.
Mm-hmm. I thought she was fantastic here. And then, you know, like you said, Little Mean Kathleen gets that guillotine that she had. That was Roman levels of good guillotine. Because, like, there are really good guillotines. Like, Roman had a really interesting, good version of that guillotine that I loved when he was doing that guillotine portion of his heel run as the tribal chief. There was and Little Mean Kathleen, I'll reference it like this. There's a certain person in WWE who we don't talk about who does a Kimura. And then we have Thea Hale who does a very shitty Kimura. Little Mean Kathleen didn't feel like the Thea Hale of the guillotine. She locked that shit in good. It was deep. It was tough. She was hanging back off of her. Big ups to Kelsey Raegan for being able to. And again, Little Mean Kathleen isn't large by any means. There's a reason why they call her Little Mean Kathleen. But to support that body weight in that position for the minute or two that she did was sensational by Kelsey Raegan. The knee injury is a bit unfortunate. I felt like it was a referee stoppage until I looked back in. Kelsey gets like one weird-looking submission in, and you see LMK tap to get the submission, to get the finish over, because that's apparently what was always probably going to be the finish, is that Raegan was going to win in some form or fashion, and we got it. Little Mean Kathleen is great. She makes you believe she's the toughest person. I agree. I have never... And by the way, I'm going to shout out another promotion that I don't think we're ever going to talk about here, because I don't think I can ever actually get Astrid to do this. But there's a promotion up here called Rad Pro Wrestling. Rad Pro Wrestling is a promotion stuck in the 90s. So they believe in kayfabe that their promotion is in the 90s, based on WWE. So all of the characters in this promotion act as if they're 90s WWE style gimmicks. Little Mean Kathleen plays an old lady grandma in that promotion. And it's sensational. Sensational. I love Little Mean Kathleen. She is indeed fantastic. I'm glad that she tweeted out that she wasn't hurt. I'm glad that she's doing all right. Well, I'm sorry. She tweeted that she's alive. She can't tweet whether or not she's injured or not.
Yeah, but I'll say for this being the only women's match, like I said, I will give props to Kelsey's heel work. She does great as a heel from her entrance to her wrestling and even on her way out. And like you said, Kathleen, just like for her being a little bitty bitty like me, she looks really tough the way she wrestles and the way she carries herself. So I definitely want to compliment both of them for their work in this match because it was incredible. Like you said, that guillotine, chef's kiss, it was beautiful. I thought that she had Kelsey at that moment there when I saw her. I was like, there's no way she gets out of this. And then she got out and it's like, oh, I was very impressed with that. But
I love the way that Raegan lifted her out of that guillotine. Like that was really, because normally with the guillotine you fall out of it, you kind of roll, you get to the ropes with your legs or something. She lifted and pushed Kathleen off of her, which I thought was really interesting. I honestly thought that was going to be the best submission we saw all night. And then we got to the next match. Because the next match is Joseph A-Game Alexander taking on Darian Bengston. And oh my, was this my first, this could be a match of the night contender right out the gate. I love everything to do about this match. I thought both of these guys were fantastic. I'm slightly familiar with the name Joseph A-Game whether it be with the wrestling club, Victor Tyler Perry's wrestling club. Joseph A-Game is a part of a promotion that they've been involved with. He's been to the wrestling club, so I know of the name. I never really gotten a chance to sit down and watch him work. And Darian Bengston was another new competitor that I'm very excited to see in the future. These guys went back and forth. These guys tore the house down. I thought this was going to be my match of the night until I remembered that world-class Channing Thomas was on this card. But if we talk about nothing else in this match, we need to talk about the submission that Darian Bengston used to win.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few times in the wrestling landscape where I see something and go, I've never seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
He sat Joseph A-Game down, cross-legged, and standing in front of him, grabbed the double underhook, and then flipped and put Joseph A-Game in the most uncomfortable looking position I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I was cringing here. When I was watching the match again today, I tapped out while I was working because I felt the pain that much from that. It was sensational.
Yeah. And I didn't know what to call it either. It was one of those, like, not only that submission, but at the beginning, he does a submission and a bridge around the beginning of the match itself. And I love Darian's submissions through, like, this whole match. Is like, this is his thing. Please keep going because I adore it so far. There was at one point he did an uppercut to him and then a kick right after it. That combination was amazing. And I really like Darian. I want to see more of him so far. Joseph as well, but Darian was the one that really caught my attention more in this match, and they did great together. And I would say Darian was definitely my MVP in this match.
Yeah, and Darian will now be taking on their world champion Tim Bosby at the next show. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited to keep an eye on that one because I've heard about how good Tim Bosby can be, and if Darian can put up anything like he put up here, it's going to be sensational. I agree with Willie. I think LMK versus Layla Hirsch could be something fun for the little itty bitty girls to go ahead and be able to have. I mean, I'd almost call them minis because they're almost mini size when it comes to Layla and LMK. 5 Feet of Fury indeed. We then get Bobby's favorite portion of the night. Alex Beaumaye himself, Kane, comes out, formerly MLW's Alex Kane, the former MLW world champion, taking on Kasey Owens, and I kept thinking TNA because it's not the good hands like in TNA, it's the good hand. No.
Yes, I had to keep reading it a few times. I'm like, wait, it sounds like TNA, guys, and I had to realize it wasn't. But yes, I kept going the same place. In my mind, I kept picturing them. I was like, that's not it.
Yeah, it is. This was indeed not. What's his name? John. What's his name?
Skylar?
Yeah, John Skylar. That's the name.
Mm-hmm.
The good hand.
Yep.
Fun size. Oh yeah. Oh no. They would tear me apart, and I'd enjoy every moment of it. But anyways, focusing on this match and not on getting my body ripped apart by little mean Kathleen and Layla Hirsch. Anyways, Kasey Owens versus Alex Kane. Astrid, go ahead and give some thoughts on this match.
Right. To begin, I really like that, like, three amigos that Alex did to begin the match. Obviously, I would feel bad for him because it's basically a 3-on-1 match. It's not just Alex Kane one-on-one with Kasey. So we have a couple of times that Tyler comes in to distract the referee somehow and to help out in Kasey in any way, shape, or form that he can, because they have their foot on the ropes too, and there's so many like instances where they have a back and forth here, and yeah, you end up feeling bad for Alex because it's not a fair chance for him whatsoever being in this match, but he tries his best, and then how else can you describe it? I think it was a fun match, but it was one of those that I would have done with one maybe, but there was a lot of referee distractions, but It's a heel team, so it's bound to happen more than once somehow. But I like that at least Alex comes back to get some revenge later on.
This referee is the blindest referee I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. Like, there were moments where he was, like, looking at the cheating and going, I'm going to give you a warning because God forbid you keep cheating. I go do my best foghorn leghorn here. I'll go get you. No, I thought this match was great. Alex Kane is the suplex assassin for a reason. He resides on Suplex Island for a reason. He is absolutely sensational. How Alex Kane is still unsigned by anybody. TNA, AEW, WWE NXT. Like, how he's unsigned by any of these companies is a goddamn shame. Like, I get he may be loving doing the indies, but he's one of the most talented professional wrestlers in the world. The Bomaye gimmick. And I know Bobby's going to get on me for calling this a gimmick, but the Bomaye gimmick, this Bomaye Fight Club, you could take this from promotion to promotion or to a promotion, and you could hurt business or hurt syndicate the Bomaye Fight Club into a sensational part of your roster, because everybody has a group of people who aren't taken the right way. Look at NXT with Dark State. You could put Alex Kane as the figurehead to Dark State in a heartbeat. I think that would work. You could put him in TNA, and you could package him with Mustafa Ali in that group. I think putting him with Ali and giving Ali a big here wouldn't be a bad way to get him implemented in there. Where was this show broadcast? This show was broadcast up here, Independent Wrestling TV. If you are looking for them on Twitter, it is Indie Wrestling on Twitter. They are a fantastic service. I'll go ahead and pull it up right now. I always like to advertise for them because, again, we've done, the last 4 or 5 shows have all been based off of this. But we'll do a nice little ad for everybody here because we love Independent Wrestling TV, and hopefully we're going to get them to be a sponsor on the show at some point. But Independent Wrestling TV, when you sign up, looks like this. And they talk about what's going on this week. And it's available on all kinds of streaming platforms. You can get it on Google Play, Apple TV, your App Store, Roku players, Amazon Fire, all the great things. The cool things they have is they have a streaming schedule. Tomorrow night, they're having a premiere of the Deathmatch Down Under with Wake Up the Dead. So Deathmatch Down Under is the promotion, and they're having their show. All of these shows are free with your subscription. So you can watch all of these fantastic different promotions. Or some of the shows, once they're done, go into the vault here, where you have the premium on-demand vault. And you have things like Wrestling Open, which was part of the Beyond Wrestling family that we watched last week. If we go further over, Power Pro Lucha, another company we're looking into potentially doing at the behest of our friend Bryn, who turned us on to Action Pro Wrestling. For those of you crazy enough and dumb enough to enjoy deathmatch wrestling, dumb enough, I apologize. For those of you crazy enough and sadistic enough to enjoy deathmatch wrestling, CZW's recent Tournament of Death that happened just this week is up here. The other thing is, if you don't want to do it that way, you can find your favorite promotion by going to the promotions tab. And like I said, there are all kinds of things. ICW, WXW, Wrestling Open, both Rhode Island and Worcester, New Texas Pro Wrestling, Action, Limitless. And again, Dreamwave. We love Dreamwave. Like I said, these are just the top ones that they have on their promotional page. They have different tabs that are full of other promotions that have a variety of events. Some of them are older, some of them are newer. But you have all kinds of different stuff going on here. Something I think I might want to do with Astrid at some point. I don't know how much Astrid likes The Masked Singer. But if you like The Masked Singer, during the pandemic, they did The Masked Wrestler, where you had wrestlers wrestle matches, and whoever lost got eliminated. And you had people trying to guess what wrestler it is. Yes, so much independent wrestling indeed. Indeed, Last Emperor. I do. Like I said, it's like $10-11 a month in the States. Translate that to whatever it is in your area. It's well worth the money. Yeah, if commentary isn't shit, ETU is another company I've heard of. I believe they're on here. I can look that up right now under the A tab. A through F tab. ETU. Yes, ETU Wrestling is in here indeed. Oh, and they got a fun one coming up later this month. Ashley, you might like this one. Josh Bishop versus the Key to the East champion, Mike Santana.
Yes.
So maybe that's a show we do in October. But like I said, indie wrestling is fantastic. Like I said, that's where we've gotten a huge... Oh, he's an American. Okay. I know he enjoys the Australian promotions that we cover. So that's why I thought he might be one of the Australians that we have that joins us. But yes, all kinds of great independent wrestling on there. We're excited to be utilizing it to go ahead and show you guys all of this. And that's where you can watch these shows ahead of time to be in the chat, talk about the matches that we watch as opposed to us just telling you about these fantastic matches. Speaking of other fantastic matches, we're going to go ahead and jump into our next match. Yes. This is where I got to meet Joe Black. But no? No love for the pun? All right, fine.
Perhaps.
No
And doing other stuff too at the same time.
Anyways, Joe Black versus Tyson Malrick. Now, I will say I had to look multiple times and listen multiple times to understand how to pronunciate Malrick. Because it looks like it'd be simple enough. But I think I said it 5 times differently in my head before I heard them say it. This was the closest to a comedy match we had all night. I think Tyson Malrick is fantastic. I loved the way he worked this match. I thought it was sensational. The idea that he kept thinking that he was getting the better of Joe Black throughout this entire match. Like, he'd do a chop, and then he'd walk away like, ha ha, I did it. And Joe would just be standing there like bouncing his pecs. The charisma from Joe Black in this match. It felt like he was never not in control of this. The moves he pulled out was sensational. Everything about this was great. Joe gets the big win. Again, all love to Tyson. When you have these matches to put over a charisma magnet like Joe Black, you need somebody to be the fool. And Tyson played the fool perfectly in this match. We then get my least favorite in-ring portion of the show. Goodbye. Have a great night. And yes, you will see Papa Smokes and Bobby Munson this Thursday on Ring Respect Radio. And I might even show up because it's trivia. But we all know Munson likes to fuck on me on trivia because I kept winning too much.
Yes.
Too much winning for me, so Munson tried to screw me. So I've missed a couple trivias because I was avoiding Munson screwing me over. Anyways, Matt Sells. Oh, Matt Sells. Oh, I have thoughts and opinions. So first, he stole the whole Pete weight, bruiser weight thing and calls himself the Boozer weight, which is very indie wrestling. He then, you're an El Assassino fan, so you know you're in for a rough night on Thursday. I mean, you know. So Matt then goes to cut the most generic bitter heel promo that I've ever heard cut on a non-WWE show. Like, I felt like this promo was written by Brian Gewirtz. That's how generic bitter heel promo this was. It's all your people's fault that I'm not at the top of the card. And every year at the anniversary show, I get shit on. And this year I had to put myself on commentary to get myself a spot on the anniversary show. And bitch, 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 moan, 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 whine, whine, whine. God, I didn't love this promo. And then before this, he had attacked Joe with the chair, and he DDT'd him on the chair. So I was already going to hate him anyways. And then he does my least favorite heel thing. Y'all aren't going to see me until I'm good and ready to be seen. And he's got his shitty fucking ZZ Top white beard with his bald fucking head.
I wish I had a clip for this moment, though. No, I don't have it.
Oh, sorry.
That's where you go with Stud Wallace. Bye-bye, bitch.
Yes. Yes. This is indeed a bye-bye bitch thing. This just was... I don't know what this promo was trying to accomplish, other than setting up a Joe Black versus Matt. Mm-hmm. By the way, and then after he finishes the promo and he's getting ready to leave, he says his full gimmick name, and it's Matt Sex Sells. And I'm like, excuse me? You're the least sexy person we've seen on this entire card. And that includes Slim J. Like, seriously, dude? You think that you're, like, sexy in any way, shape, or form, good sir? No. I wanted to chant bald at him like we did it to John Walters on Friday night. Like people have been doing in AEW to Ricochet. Like, I wanted to chant bald at this man the entire time he talked because I hated him so much. Which probably means he's being an effective heel. But I didn't hate him for anything he was saying. Mm-hmm. I hated him for the fact that after 24 years, as he told us 3 times in his promo, that he's been in the business for 24 years, you can't cut a better promo than this, motherfucker? Like, come on! Get your shit together, Matt Sells. And I understand. I understand Bobby's going to clip this and then tag him. And I'm never going to hear the end of this. And if you do that, Bobby, I'm going to make sure that I play the El Assassino clip every Tuesday on this show.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right? Matt Sex Sells. And again, while Astrid talks about the Joe Black Tyson Malrick match and her thoughts on this promo, I'm going to go. I just let my program do. Yeah, You still take requests when Astrid asks for them. I know that because I've seen the clips from the last few weeks.
Oh my goodness! I mean, if we have a clippable moment, might as well clip it, right? Especially when we make each other die on stream. No, I enjoy the match, but this is one of those, like, it felt more like see, it's not always me. See, I'm not the only one. Thank you. Joe reminded me a lot, to be ironic with this, but he reminded me a lot of Samoa Joe. Like the kind of like cool type kind of guy that you just want to cheer on for him every time. That's what it felt like. And I really enjoyed him, and I like the energy that he brings too. So I'm glad at the end that he was like in control of the match and he still won the match. It wasn't one of those like the person's in control and then the other person wins at the end. I'm glad it wasn't that. But I felt like even the match itself, it was fun, but I don't like that after the ending it was ruined by him getting attacked by Matt. Because I feel like it went well, and then I was forwarding anything in between, like the announcing, for example, just so I could just watch the wrestling aspect of the show. So I almost skipped this part until I saw Matt come in, and then I went back and started watching it. But like you said, that promo is one of those like what we call the you people promos. Always you caused this and you did this and you did that. I was like, okay, we heard this how many times by now? And it's still gonna happen and continue happening for years, it looks like at this point. You're muted if you're trying to talk for real. Making sure.
Look at this man. Like, look at him.
No.
Does this scream sex sells? Like,
not in my book.
Look at this jabroni. Look at him. And I mean, I'm sure our friends at Action Wrestling wouldn't care if we played the clip, but I'm just like, look, he's just so unattractive. I mean, he's no Osiris Griffin. Let's call a spade a spade. He's no Osiris Griffin.
No, Bobby.
And Bobby's cut off. Bobby's been apparently indulging in the weed and the booze too much tonight. You know what? You know why Bobby likes him? Because he's the boozer way. That's why Bobby likes him. Because he's Canadian and the beer thing. No booze. Okay. I was right about half of it then. Anyways, Astrid, I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
That was pretty much it. I like Joe more than anything. I enjoyed the match, but I just didn't like that it was ruined by the attack afterwards. And the promo wasn't even, it was okay, but it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. Yeah, I wasn't entirely a fan of it. So,
like I said, I'll just say it again. For a guy who's 24 years in the business, you feel like he could cut a better promo. Like, I'm gonna take my merch and go home. Okay, so you're gonna make even less money because you're gonna take your merch and go home. Like, it's just, there was so much I hated about this. Something I didn't necessarily hate was the Tyrone street fight between Adrian Alanis and Bobby Flaco. And I kept hearing Bobby Flaco, and I just kept thinking Joe Flacco, and I kept thinking football. And I kept getting confused. One of the guys' music starts playing, and is an instant attack. They fight outside the arena, outside to the table, where there's some guy eating, and they're fighting around him. And then Bobby climbed a fucking tree. With children in the tree, he climbed the tree and jumped off of it. And I'm like, what in God's creation are we watching here? Like, what the hell is this? And at that point, I thought we'd seen it all. I thought we'd seen everything we needed to see. But this is the moment where I did indeed have to reach out to our good friend, Millie. Because during this match, Bobby Flaco took a wheelchair-bound fan at ringside, tilted him back. And by the way, I played a clip of this for her to figure out, is this appropriate or offensive? Because I could end up on both sides of it's fun and funny. And yes, Millie says, oh, geez. It's fun and funny, but at the same time, I'm not somebody from that community. I don't know if this is considered okay or not. So, as Millie has stated before, that she is wheelchair bound. So I wanted to go to Millie and be like, is this something accessible? Is this something fun? If you were this fan at ringside, would you have been okay with this? She thought it was great. She thought it was fun. She also made sure to point out that no contact was made with the fan's feet hitting the guy's face. And again, typical professional wrestling. You know, there's very little contact made in a lot of professional wrestling, so it made a lot of sense that there was none there. But for me, it was one of the most pivotal portions of the matches because it was the moment where I go, I don't know how this plays for people other than me, because I have a dark sense of humor. There are a lot of things that I find funny that I shouldn't find funny, especially in this last week. But that's why I needed to bounce it off somebody with more responsible than myself. Because as I've said in the private our local establishment chats, I'm a child. I'm the person in the meme where there's a person running around going, I need an adult. I need an adult. Oh, wait. I am an adult. I need an adult. You're adults. Because I'm not the adult in the room. I'm never the adult in the room. And Astrid and Bobby and Mel and anybody in those chats can tell you, I'm not the let's think this out. Let's make sure to make a measured response to things. I'm not that person. So I had to reach out to other people who might be those people. And then Astrid gets to see her first independent door. What did you think of seeing a door as opposed to a table?
I don't mind it though. It's just something that you kind of expect the table to happen first and then the door coming a little bit later. That's the only thing. But no, I think it's a different kind of visual. It doesn't happen often, so might as well make something out of it somehow. And I like the way it happened because it was Adrian doing a power bomb through the door there. So why not? It was fun. Like you said, I was not a fan of how it started, being that it was backstage because of the cameras and everything. But I know they made it work towards the beginning there at least. And I like having the camera showing so much of the fans as they're going throughout the venue here. It wasn't just set up in one place. They found out to give us a camera by the ringside and one wherever they were to chase them, basically, as the match was happening. So we were able to follow the action as it happened. But I like the fact that we had everybody so into it. There was one of the guys that Liam that took the bucket away from Bob and just put it in Bob's face before he turned around, and that caught me off guard. So it was really funny too.
Yeah, I thought this match was really good. It's not your typical street fight. It's very different, and indie doors are built differently. Yes. Doors, I think, are cheaper than buying tables, to be honest with you. I think that's why they do it. Because, like, a hollow door is relatively cheap at, like, a Home Depot. So you get a few of those. Because tables can be expensive. Plus, you got to be careful with there's so much surrounding the table with the metal on the back and the metal underneath. And you got to gimmick it the right way. Whereas a door, it's hollow. You just throw the guy through it and call it a day. So, doors on the independent scene are way more widely available than watching a table match. I thought, like I said, I thought this was fun. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's a very different take on a street fight that I hadn't seen before. And that's good. Something different, something interesting, something unique. That's why like I said, Action Pro Wrestling was really good for this because of the fact that we got some different stuff. We still use tables around these parts. People sell them cheap in yard sales. Yeah. But sometimes it's hard to get enough tables for your yard sales. So, you gotta, back and forth it. Tell that to the tables and doors used at Eve. Hey, Eve is an entirely different beast. They have the De Niro over in Eve because they got the good talent over there at Eve. And again, we're looking into trying to figure out how to properly do it for the team here at our local establishment to be able to watch Eve shows. Yeah, they do refuse to break. I've seen some footage of some Eve stuff where they are the table. If you've ever watched some Botchamania, no, doesn't look like Ashley's ever watched some Botchamania, so it's fine.
Here and there, but not my cup of tea.
Really, I'm surprised. I figured you'd be a Botchamania person. What did you think of the Young Bucks getting a knife sent in the mail?
Plus the letter. I just love that BTE is back. I love it. I'm happy.
Billy, what? Billy, like, excuse.
Wait. We need context to this, not just like that. He meant in BTE, not in real life. Just so you know.
Well, BTE is real life. It's a vlog.
Yeah, but it didn't happen from like in real life, like a threat or anything like that.
I don't know. It sounded pretty threatening to me when the note says, "For the next time you want to stab me in the back, Jack."
Let's just say, "Cry me a river," okay? That's all we can say for now.
Hey, you know what? Jack Perry's on my Christmas card list this year because if it wasn't for Jack Perry, I wouldn't have gotten to see AJ Lee return to the wrestling ring. Because Lord knows it wasn't happening in the other place. Anyways, back to topics that we're supposed to be talking about, as opposed to Ed talking about knives in the mail. It's still so confusing to me why they think that would even get sent in the mail, because it would never have gone through the mail, ever. Like, one of the things they ask you at the post office is there any weaponry or anything in the box? Again, sorry, distracted. I apologize. The Action Tag Team Championships with Top Team, not America's Top Team, which is the TNA faction led by Dan Lambert. I believe it was in AEW too, right? When Dan Lambert worked in AEW with Sammy Guevara, it was American Top Team as well, correct?
Yeah, but when I saw this name, I kept thinking of Top Flight, not Top Team.
Oh, okay. I kept thinking.
I was like, yeah.
I kept seeing stupid Dan Lambert bitching, whining, moaning with his fucking fat ass face.
No, that's one of those things. You know, the thing they give you Men in the Black that you want to take off from your memory. That's what I do with him. Yeah, whatever that's called. That.
The Neuralizer, big Men in Black fan. With Jay Lucas and the best name in professional wrestling, Terry Yaki. Just hands down the best name in professional wrestling.
It's so
Terry
clever. Yaki. When I typed it out, I couldn't believe what I was reading, and I was like, I can't wait to hear it being announced or in commentary. And once I heard it, I died laughing. I was like, this guy is very clever. I give him props for this. I adore the name.
Terry Yaki. And they took on the Good Hand, made up of guys we've seen before. Suge D, which is, I believe, Sugar Duncanson, if I'm correct. Right?
He was also one of the people that AEW used a lot during the pandemic as well. That's how I had seen of him before.
And that's why I was saying it. That's why I think it's Sugar. That's the name, right? Yeah. Sugar Duncanson. He was the AEW. He was on Dark and Dark Elevation a lot.
Correct.
During that time. Okay. And The Wall, Tyler Stevens, who, by the way, went ahead and gave either a view or a like to Astrid's post on Instagram about it. So thank you, The Wall. We greatly appreciate it. Oh, he also had a very short stint in MLW too. Okay.
I knew that. Hold on.
So I love the story of this match. Is that the Good Hand are the best tag team in Action Pro Wrestling. They may not have been a consecutive tag team reign of the longest, but like Suge D has held these titles for 400 and some odd days in combined reigns. And he feels like he's the best tag team wrestler in Action Pro Wrestling, which makes a lot of sense. So it makes them the bad heels, but also it makes them the favorites in the match. Mm-hmm. And then you have this young, up-and-coming top team with Jay Lucas and Teriyaki in here. And I love how it's your bog standard, this is how we do big guy, little guy match. I thought, and again, I say bog standard and you go, oh, so it was boring. No. They did a really good job of making it interesting, about making it a little bit different. I thought this was really good. I love a lot of this. Most importantly, I love that this continues the storyline from earlier with Alex Kane and the Good Hand. Mm-hmm. By having Kasey Owens out there, Kasey Owens pulls the referee out. And again, every time somebody on the outside pulls a referee out, I think that should instantly mean that they get kicked out of a match. I feel like that's the easiest and best way to do these things. But for some reason, professional referees are the dumbest people on 2 feet. Not you, Daphne. Daphne, you're great. We all know who I'm talking about. She's having a tough time. I know she's off Twitter. I apologize for your loss. But referees are some of the dumbest names in all of professional wrestling. Mm-hmm. I mean, some of them can count. They gotta. You know what? Referees can count to 10. Or if you're in New Japan, you have to count to 20. Red Shoes has to count to 20. That's a lot.
Poor Red
They
Shoes.
get knocked out as easy as Ring Boys. That is true. What did you think of this match between Top Team and the Good Hand?
I enjoy this a lot more because this is one, like I said before, like my type of style with like the high flying and the fast pace of it. And Top Team was one that I really enjoyed watching here. I like the fact that we have the tag team champions isolating the opposite team every so often that they could, and thinking this is our formula to be able to finish this match. And then with like kind of like we had earlier with the Alex K match. This is more like a 3-on-2 sort of match here, rather than a tag team match. And I'm glad we had Alex coming here and even the odds and take away Kasey, so that way it will be more 1-on-1. They also like isolated Tyler at one point, so it's ironic because he's the bigger guy. So I'm glad they kind of got rid of him in that sort of way in the match, so that way they could focus on Suge, which I remembered later, and I kept thinking in my mind when I heard his name. I kept thinking of the name that Jericho gave him, so I kept thinking, "Oh, it's Pineapple Pete." That's the one I always kept thinking about the whole time while I was watching this, but I had to make sure not to put that name on the notes so I wouldn't confuse myself later. Um, but yeah, I like the fact that they isolated Tyler to the point that once they had him alone, then they were able to win the match and win the tag team titles. And I'm glad to have such a like young team, and I like their style and everything. So it was a really fun match all together.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say anything more than this. God, Top Team was so fun and so interesting. And again, they're so fun and interesting for a new viewer because they're so juxtaposed to Suge D, to The Wall, Tyler Stevens. And you've got to give them the credit there because you've got to have the big guys who can do the work in order to make the little guys look as good as they do. Because the little guys can only look this good when the big guys do their part. So big ups to Suge, big up to Tyler Stevens. I thought they were fantastic in this. But obviously the ones coming out of it, Teriyaki, Jay Lucas, your new Action Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions, the Top Team. And now the Top Team is the top team in Action Pro Wrestling. Ba-dum-bum. We then get to one of my favorite matches, because of course it was going to be. Because on loan from the Dallas wrestling territory, Channing Thomas, thank God, without Sydney Bakabella. Fun story. It has nothing to do with this show, but it does have to do with this weekend. I saw the Chaotic Show this weekend on Friday, and Sydney Bakabella was there with John Walters, and he decided he wanted to get involved physically in the ring in the match with the Monarchy, because the Monarchy was fighting under Monarchy rules, so it meant it was a 3-on-2 handicap match. So he decided he was going to even the odds, and he pulled off his shirt, and he has the worst tattoo I've ever seen on his back. Like, the worst tattoo. So when he decided to get out of the ring and not hurt himself, he was standing just mere feet away from me. So I yelled at him, "Hey, Sydney, what the fuck is that tattoo supposed to be, and where did you get it?" And he didn't respond. So I yelled it again. And he didn't respond. So I yelled it one more time. And oh boy, he heard it that time. And he turned and he looked at me with all the anger and all the passion he could bottle up. And he yelled at me, "It's from prison!" And I just went, "Oh, thanks." And I gave a thumbs up. He yelled at me so loudly that now I'm a big guy, so I sit on the corners of the ring. So we sit front row on the corner. So I sit on the very outside. Directly in front of me at all of these shows is the security. So we have like the ring boys, as most would call them, but security. And after I got yelled at by Sydney Bakabella, the security guard looked at me and goes, "Well, that was something." And I went, "Yeah, but I got my answer." And he goes, "At what expense?" And I go, "Well, I'm not getting an autograph from Sydney Bakabella anytime soon." After the match, Sydney Bakabella didn't pick up his shirt. So the security guard in front of me did. And he had it under his chair. And I asked him, "Is there any chance you can give me Sydney's shirt?" Because Sydney was selling a mystery box for $100. But knowing the heel that Sydney Bakabella is, I know it's empty. So I'm not going to spend my hard-earned money on it. But I was going to trade him his trademark shirt for the box
Mm-hmm.
because I thought it'd be funny. But the security guard was like, I can't afford to have Mr. Bacabella mad at me. I saw the way he looked at you. And I go, I understand. So it was nice to see Channing Thomas without Sidney Bacabella.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got to his opponent. Now, they made a big deal about his song on commentary. Did you hear the music for him on commentary?
I told you I was skipping most of the stuff that wasn't wrestling so I could finish it. Okay. I have the clip I was going to upload that I forgot.
Yes. So his opponent was indeed Adam Priest. For those of you who are in the wrestling landscape, who may not be like me and may watch AEW from time to time, you'll be familiar with Adam Priest as he has been on Collision the last 3 weeks, tagging with JD Drake once and Tommy Billington, the Dynamite Kid's son, twice. And all 3 times in a losing effort to fuck the Revival. Or I'm sorry, FTR. And if you want to see just what Adam Priest is able to do, I believe Astrid has a clip she's going to play right now.
Yeah, this is something that I saw. I had missed Collision, but it's something that I kept seeing a few times. So I was hoping I could find it before the show. Hopefully we wouldn't get copyrighted because it's only a couple seconds.
To a headbutt. I believe so. I thought maybe a knee from the top. Oh my God. What?
There you go. Because I figured it's too short.
Oh, no, you're muted now. I can't hear you.
Oh.
Did I lose my headset? I wonder if my headset died.
Okay, how about now?
I can hear you now. Let's just hope there's no echo on my end now. All right. Adam Priest is indeed most likely All Elite Bound. Yeah, that's one hell of a move. Adam Priest is making a name for himself all over the indies, and now he's working. He worked a show with Ring of Honor. He's now worked 3 shows with AEW. I believe at least 1 or 2 of those was part of the Philadelphia residency, wasn't it?
I believe so.
1 or 2 of those matches was in the Philadelphia residency. Adam Priest is fantastic. They call him, I believe it's Any Style Adam Priest.
I think so.
Something like that. This is my match of the night. This by far and away blew out everything that was here. No offense to Joe Black. No offense to Darian Bengston. No offense to everybody else on this show. This is the match of the night. And it was always going to be the match of the night because this is 2 guys who should be on one weekly television show, whether it's TNA, whether it's WWE, or whether it's AEW. These guys should be on weekly television somewhere because these 2 guys are absolutely sensational. Channing Thomas's gimmick will never work on television, but it'll work on the independent circuit. It might work in Ring of Honor because I feel like Ring of Honor could still kind of tie into that territory system that he pulls. But God, these guys are good. The finish of this match is just sensational. The back and forth pins with the reversal of the power bomb, or the pile driver, I'm sorry. It was just, all of this was so good. The Boston Crab, the figure 4, everything that was done in this match was picture perfect. These guys are sensational. I can't wait to see more Adam Priest on television. I hope he becomes All Elite because he deserves it because he really is one of the best in the business right now. They said on commentary he went through a thing for IWTV where he had like 14 matches that he won, and every match was a different style or a different gimmick match. And I'm just like, the ability to be able to be that versatile. He reminds me so much of a wrestler, and Astrid said this to me, and it was the perfect comparison. I'm sorry I'm stealing. But he reminds me of a wrestler we can't talk about anymore, who was one of the best wrestlers in the world, who did a very, very bad thing, and rightfully so, has been banished from the world of professional wrestling. But that professional wrestler, while in the ring, was one of the best wrestlers and could adapt to everybody and anybody. And Adam Priest, not only does he kind of look a little bit like him in some ways, he absolutely wrestles like him in almost every way. This match was sensational. Big ups to both of them. Hopefully you both get signed if that's your idea. Priest, you're right on the cusp of it, so hopefully you get it, because I think you could do great things in All Elite Wrestling, good sir.
I mean, yeah, you said it. It's like oh, now I'm echoing. I hate it. But anyway, it was one of those that once I saw him, I was like, he just reminds me so much of him. And I didn't want to say it, but I was like, I hope I don't sound offensive when I say this. But I was like, he reminds me of that somebody a lot. And him and Eddie are the two of the three people that I enjoy the most while I was watching wrestling. And I feel like nobody does it like either one of them. There's nobody that can replicate what they have done. And Adam Priest he does so much like it. It was just so uncanny. I feel like I was watching him all over again. I was like, I remember those days when I was watching SmackDown and watching him. And it made me kind of like nostalgic thinking about it. But like you said, even from the build to like the way he wrestles, I was like, this is scary good how he does it so well, and how he does it. I don't say exactly, but like he does it pretty well like him. And once I saw him, I kept thinking about that clip from Collision, so I knew I had to find it somehow and be able to show it, because it's one of those things that that's what I keep seeing from Collision more than anything, because people are so impressed and talking about Adam Priest right now. And after seeing this bunch, it's like I understand where they're coming from. So I really hope he does get that All Elite graphic pretty soon as well.
Yeah, he's the, somebody who I follow a lot, because she does interviews with so many different independent talent, especially those up here in the Northeast. Queen of the Indies, Tiffany. I adore her. We tried to play her clip going into the Narcissistic Behavior show, because she had a fantastic clip from Richard Holiday as he was promoting that show beforehand. She does incredible work with a lot of different talent, and she is one of the biggest Adam Priest fans. So everybody's waiting for her reaction to seeing that All Elite graphic as soon as it comes up, and hopefully it'll come up soon. Adam gets the win, as he should. But again, nothing to take away from Channing Thomas. Like you said, nobody can do what either of these guys do, because Channing Thomas, he replicates that 80s Ric Flair in such a way that's so unbelievably great. Like, he has that feel with the robe and the hair and the look, and he's got the hairy chest like all those guys from that decade did. And he carries himself in that way. And again, it goes all the way back to his introductions. Like, with the gimmick with him and Sidney Bacabella being that they're territory guys, saying that he's world class from the Dallas territory, a.k.a. World Class Championship Wrestling, WCCW, the Von Erich territory from Dallas back in the 70s and the 80s and things like that. Like, it's just so great to see him living that gimmick and being able to do it. He can do anything. Like, we saw him working as a member of Starstruck on the Beyond show. So it's not like he's stuck in this one gimmick that he has to be this old school wrestler. He can do it all. And he can be something more flamboyant, more flashy, and more current. But the idea that this is who he is and this is what he does, it's just such a good look for him. It brings out the best of him. And these two brought out the best in each other. And I just can't say enough good things. And I'm mostly stalling because I want to love the main event. But this is a bit of a clusterfuck. And it was always going to be a clusterfuck, because we have Team Action Wrestling taking on Team New South Pro Wrestling. So, like Chaotic has a sister promotion, like Beyond has Wrestling Open, a lot of, like we've talked about, the independent wrestling organizations love to work with each other. Chaotic had a match between Team CAP, Creative Pro Wrestling Academy, because they have a talent exchange with the people at Creative Pro Wrestling, to be able to go ahead and send talent from New Jersey up here, and we send talent down there. It's a great work, and it's done good for both companies. So, obviously, New South Pro Wrestling is the company that Action likes to work with, among others. They kept mentioning 3 or 4 different promotions throughout the show that they work with. But this is the one that they set up at the last show, and I give them credit for giving us the video of the last show with the brawl, setting this up. So I thought that was really cool, because it gave us the reason for why we need to care about this main event. In Team Action Wrestling was Krule. It was Jaden Newman and Jameson Shook. I love these guys. I love all three of them. 48-25. I need to know the meaning, so hopefully one of these two guys sees this show and goes ahead and lets me know the meaning of 48-25, the tag team name for the tag team of Jaden Newman and Jameson Shook, because they are tag team champions in a variety of territories. They have a whole bunch of belts. I had to look high and low to try to find a good promo photo for them. By the way, guys, if you are watching it, independent wrestlers as a whole, please, for the love of God, on your social medias, pin a nice promo photo that could be used as a PNG for thumbnails, because for the love of God, I don't like to have to go through your fucking Facebooks to find good photos. So pin it to your Twitter, pin it to your Instagram, pin good photos, clean action, like non-action photos. Please, for the love of God, it makes my job so much easier making graphics for this show. And then we had Team New South Pro Wrestling. Oh boy. If Teriyaki was the best name in independent wrestling, then New South Pro Wrestling has some of the worst. We have, checks notes, Big Dave. Keyword, he's big. Good job, Dave. By the way, that New South Pro Wrestling Championship, it's just a big fucking gold square with some leather attached. Come on, New South Pro Wrestling. Get some good titles. Come on. That thing is an obscene mess. We also have Sean Christopher. You spelled Sean wrong, but otherwise, fine. Nothing wrong with your name. You're approved. And then we have the Barefoot Wonder himself, Cabana Man Dan. What in the fuck is that for a wrestling name?
He just belongs in the Flintstones. That's what it looks like.
By the way, I'm done with all of these barefoot jabroni wrestlers. And that includes, unfortunately, Speedball Mike Bailey.
No, don't say that. No.
I love Speedball, but wrestlers, for the love of God, please put some fucking shoes on. Like,
no,
you can wear Chucks like AJ Lee. You can wear Vans like AJ Lee. You don't have to wear wrestling boots. But for the love of God, put something on your feet. This includes Cabana Man Dan. This includes Matt, I'm a super dumbass Riddle. And this also includes, unfortunately, the wonderful and talented Mike Speedball Bailey.
No, not Speedball.
And by the way, if you haven't seen it, go watch his recent vlog where he tried to learn the Mina dance. Because, double chef's kiss. Him trying to learn how to do the Mina dance.
We need to have Melba show him.
He had Mina showing him. I mean, there's nobody better. I love Mel Ball too, but there's nobody better than Mina trying to show you how to do the Mina dance.
But at least she was Mina approved, so it's the same thing.
No, I agree, but I mean, why get a teacher when you can have the inventor? You know what I'm saying? It's like, we love Mel Ball, but like Mike Speedball Bailey has access to Mina. And by the way, who wouldn't want to watch Mina dance?
That's true.
Anyways, Astrid, I do want you to talk about. Do you have anything to say on the names of the professional wrestlers from New South Pro Wrestling? Or you're gonna let me sit in that puddle of doo-doo all by myself?
No, you said it already. I don't have to say it, but Cabana Man Dan, he just belongs in the Flintstones. That's all I can think about. Yes, I'm aging myself by saying that, okay? I know that. But still, he belongs there. Yeah, this was one of those matches that was just like a hot mess, but I want to say kind of like in a comedy way, because they started outside. The match didn't start till like a minute or two after. So we had to wait. And I don't think was there anybody inside the ring when the bell rang? Because I didn't see anybody in the ring. They were outside, not even in the ring. They were about to go in the ring. They're like, it's official now. I'm like, but there's nobody there yet. But that's another story. But I feel like it's one of those like fun things like when they do. It's kind of similar when Debbie had that era when they had like the 8-10 Diva tag matches and they all had the move that they do like for funsies, like the suplex thing, whatever it's called, that they all do that, or the Tower of Doom, things like that. And that's what it felt like when they have like the moment that we have both teams face to face and they do that brawl and everything. So I think this was more of a match to be more like to have funsies rather to be serious. That's why to me I would have put Adam Priest and Channing as the main event instead of this. I would have switched those two because that one felt more important in the way that it was delivered than this one was. But it was just like one of the matches. Like we're just doing this for funsies to end the show. So it wasn't as seriously as I thought it was gonna be in the main event. But it was fun, though.
I really enjoyed, and the two people that stood out to me in this match, and again, Krule always stands out to me because, again, as I said to Astrid, hold on, I gotta pull it back up again. I thought I still had it in here. How can you not notice this guy? Like,
Yeah.
how do you miss that guy? By the way, congratulations to that guy for winning the MLW World Championship finally. Good job, Mads Kruger, otherwise known as Krule. But no, the two that stood out to me here were Jaden Newman and Jameson Shook. These guys were sensational. I need to see more of these two guys. 48-25 as a tag team. These two guys separately. I don't care how it is. I need to see more of them. I'm going to be very interested to find other shows or other promotions where these guys are around, because these guys stood out hand over fist above everybody else. Again, with the exception of Krule, because I love Krule. Krule's great. These two guys stood out so good in this. But like you said, like I said, it's just a bit of clusterfuck. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It did the thing it needed to do. It was fun for the fans. The fans enjoyed this. They all had signs that said New South Pro Wrestling sucks. The fans were in on it. The wrestlers were in on it. There was a whole bunch of shenanigans going on. At one point, one of the guys outside cold clocked Krule with the chair, knocked him down. There was a whole bunch of outside interference and stuff like that from the New South Wales. I keep calling it the New South Wales team, the New South Pro Wrestling team. It's fine. It's broadly fine. It was fun because of the guys on the Action Wrestling team were guys that I was interested in seeing. And the guys on the other team were guys that I wanted to see get beat up because they have the stupidest of pro wrestling names. And this is coming from a guy who cheers for a guy named Patrick Wheatman. Wheatman! I'll show you context for that in a little bit, actually. And then we have a guy called The Big Cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Navarro. Yeah, no, I know. But Patrick Wheatman is over. I mean, like I said, I'll show you the Friday night show. He was over.
Plus, for a guy whose name is Edward Fries.
Yes, but that's a legal name. Like, that's not a I have funsies. I'm going to create a cool wrestling name, and I come up with. Yes, you got bacon.
I know. I did for funsies. Calm down. Calm down.
I know. Just saying. Mine's a legit name. It's not.
Is it though?
It is. It is my legit government name. Anyways, overall, I really enjoyed Action Pro Wrestling. Unlike some of the promotions that we've talked about, I'm not dying to go back right away. I'm going to continue watching Action Pro Wrestling on my own because I think that there's going to be some fun stuff coming. Tim Bosby versus Darian Bennington is going to be a banger. I'm very excited for that next show. The show we were hoping to do in this show's place, not because we didn't want to do this show, but because there was some stuff on there that I really wanted to talk about, I think Ashley would have preferred to talk about, was Dean 3, which included Billy Starks versus somebody really good. I can't believe I'm spacing on the name. But it had Billy Starks on it. It was a co-promotion between Ring of Honor. The only problem was it was on Honor Club, and neither of us have Honor Club anymore. I never did, but Astrid did. But we don't have it anymore. And it would have been, a little bit tougher to get everybody to see it because it just came out on Thursday on
Nicole
Honor.
Matthews, I think.
Yes, there it is. The Ninja Nicole Matthews from Canada. That's why I remembered it, because she's from Canada. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on that show. So if you do have Honor Club, I do suggest watching Dean 3 because there's a bunch of fun stuff on there. I'm very excited for it to come to IWTV or their YouTube channel in the near future so we can go ahead and watch it. Again, we love Action Pro Wrestling. I think there's a lot to like here. But unlike some of the other promotions, I don't know if we're dying to go back like Dreamwave or Uprising, Beyond Wrestling. Those are some that have really stuck out to me as like they're must watches now. Like I'm just counting the days down to the end of October where Dreamwave's coming back with that Buried Alive match between Dijak and the big guy over there in Dreamwave. The one with the concussion, we felt was a little bit weird that they were still doing the match even though they were saying he had a concussion.
I don't remember. I have to look back.
It's fine. It's fine.
I got a bad memory, okay?
Astrid, tell the good people where they can find you and all of your great stuff.
Okay. Double check it real quick. Okay, I got everything. You can find me on my Twitter is in Blue Skies Astrid Pizarro. My Instagram and Threads is Astrid Pizarro 20, and I uploaded it now. There you go. That is the link to my Hot Topic storefront that you can use now. It's kind of like the W Shop affiliate. The prices are basically the same, but if you scan it, I get a percentage of that, just like we do with the shop affiliate. I know they released the NXT like throwback T-shirts now because of the homecoming show. So if you're looking to get one of those, you can just scan the QR code from the W Shop affiliate there too.
And if you want another cool shirt, I know we haven't talked about it in a while, but there is the Astrid Pizarro shirt here, modeled by the great Melball Collins that you can see in the middle of the screen at foryourwear.com/Astrid-Pizarro/. So you can always definitely check out that as well. For me, I don't have any merch to hawk, unfortunately. So you can. Yes. Thank you indeed, Bobby Munson, for taking this. I mean, Mike the Ref is there too. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at EdFries12584. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/EdFries2002. At the end of the month, we've got another exciting episode of Marvel Talk coming up where me, Andre C., and the Empress of our local establishment, who is kicking all of the boys' asses in football. She is now officially at the top by herself in fantasy football. Just a spoiler for this Sunday's point of view. She is now the only person that's 2-0. STG, ironically, is the only person 0-2. And then there's the rest of us in the middle. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, you can catch us on Point of View. You can catch the three of us on Marvel Talk as we go ahead and talk all things Marvel Zombies at the end of the month. So we're very excited for that. It's going to be a good time. We're very, very intrigued by what's going to be happening there. Yes, I am talking shit after two. I'm going to talk shit the entire season no matter what position I'm in, just so we're clear. So, yeah, but, it is a long season. It is indeed a long season. But we want to thank you for joining us. And again, if you want to find more about this show or anything else related to Action Pro Wrestling, their website is up there. You can find them at Action Wrestling 1 on Twitter. And you can go ahead and follow them. We hope you do, because we do know that they tweeted us out. We hope that there's some more that we can cover from them in the future because, like I said, there's a lot of people here that we liked. A lot of fun people here, so we hope we get to see more. Also, Action Pro Wrestling, get more women's wrestling. Come on. Get more women's wrestling. I know it's the South. I know it might be a little bit tougher, but come on, you can do it. I believe in you. But for myself, for Astrid Pizarro, this has been Taking Over, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
I am in misery.